This is the John Brown Alliance, where we don't fear, we fight. And we definitely don't clock out. Welcome to a segment that I'm going to call Gay for the Stay. When I say gay, I don't mean homosexuals in the sense that is perpetuated by the Republican Party. What I mean is socio-political prostitutes of all kinds. Men, women, and the like. If you remember the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, there were a whole lot of white men that were married to women who had children. And you found out they were gay, either during their tenure in office or after their deaths. The first person I want to feature on Gay for the Stay is Justice Clarence Thomas. The first time I encountered his legacy was during the Anita Hill hearings. And he called this a black lynching. Now, there is no doubt in my mind at this point that absolutely everything that Clarence Thomas did at that time actually happened. The reason I believe this is because when people like him fail to get a black woman just based on negative comments and catcalling and nastiness, they tend to get what they can get. Now, let's go back in history and to my personal experiences. Except for my father's generation, since about 1970 something, every black man I have encountered that was a person that had a little bit of money did not treat me with respect. If he thought for one moment that he could enter a white man's world, it was catcalling, it was nastiness, and I still deal with this today. I am 53 years old, and black men still don't know how to speak to me with respect where I live. Now, I am not black, I am multicultural, but yet, everywhere I go, I get the same Clarence Thomas treatment. So in no way do I think that anything that Anita Hill said is false. And the reason I say this is because he still resides in the DMV where he said those words. Let's get into prostitution and the sausage fest that has been festering since that black lynching comment. For decades, since he was confirmed, Clarence Thomas has sat on the United States Senate and said absolutely nothing until now. So tell me he is not a plant. Now, this raisin in the rice, all of a sudden we find out, has been financed by billionaires for decades. Now, he decides to speak out. And after marrying a white woman, he wants to reverse Loving v. Virginia and every single civil rights legislation that has been passed since Martin Luther King. Not only that, every time he has an opportunity to be black, he decides to be white. Now, I'm convinced through his actions that Clarence Thomas looks in a mirror and sees a white man. That is a sick, twisted individual. And it is not only a bad thing for America, but it is becoming more the rule and not the exception. People like him think that when the final solution happens in America, as it did in Germany, that the Trump administration, that regime in fascism, is going to spare him. So for me, that puts Clarence Thomas in that prison sense. When I worked for the American Indian Movement and we worked in the general population, Clarence Thomas is that guy walking around the prison with the guy that's 2 feet higher with his hand in his pocket. Now, if you know anything about jail, you know that if you put your hand in somebody's pocket and follow them around like a little puppy, that makes you their bitch. When the lights go out, you're getting fucked in the ass. That's what Clarence Thomas is doing. That's what every black politician that does not speak out right now is doing. You don't have time to wait. You are that bitch. And the John Brown Alliance is going to spend the next 4 years of the Trump administration calling you out. And Clarence Thomas is the first. Now let's get back to that. This same man that, in my opinion, thinks he is white has been getting funded way over his salary by the same people that are now influencing our government, pouring money into the Trump administration, and flooding the internet with threats to people like me. That bitch is Clarence Thomas. And he is only the first. Let me make something clear. I am a female. I have been a civil rights organizer since the 1990s. I'm nobody's bitch. I don't cow down. You don't tell me what to think, how to vote, or what I should do. Now, Clarence Thomas can live in his little bubble and have his little life paid for by oligarchs and by people like Peter Thiel. And I'm going to say Peter Thiel, Peter Thiel, Peter Thiel, Peter Thiel, Peter Thiel, Peter Thiel. And J.D. Vance. And friends of theirs. Because I have zero income from the United States of America. No white person on this earth ever gave me anything. I earned it. My net worth is 0. But when I die, if I die because I spoke against fascism, at least I have my dignity. Clarence Thomas is a prostitute. The United States Supreme Court is the most corrupt court of any kind in the history of the world. When I die, I don't need somebody to pay for my casket like Clarence Thomas. I have integrity. I have a love for the United States. I have something Clarence Thomas will never have. I am bold. I am courageous. And I am the United States of America. I am the resistance. I am the future. This is the John Brown Alliance. When you see something wrong, do something right.